Greetings, Broadway babies. It's Emily here. So I just watched the Smash reunion / Bombshell concert, and I thought it would be fun to talk about it. For those of you who are theater people who've been living under a rock and haven't heard of the phenomenon known as Smash, it was a 2012 TV series that was produced by Steven Spielberg, and it had this amazing pilot episode, and it was all about the making of a new Broadway show. And the Broadway show was based on the life of Marilyn Monroe, and it was called Bombshell. Every week there was gonna be a new musical theater number, and it was supposed to be like a more adult Glee. And everyone was really excited about it. Like I said, the first episode was just this huge deal. This wonderful song, Let Me Be Your Star, came out of it. Let me be your star. Oh my God. And then the show kind of went, and after 2 seasons, it was dead. Well, it has a cult following, and believe me, I watched every episode and I loved it. But Smash had a lot of problems, and it's really funny to kind of be in this world in 2020 where we're looking back on Smash going, wasn't it good? And it's like, it had its moments. It was best when it wasn't trying to be Glee. It started becoming Glee pretty hard, pretty fast. With all these musical numbers that were taking place in bowling alleys and karaoke bars, and that were just covers of pop songs, and they just were not good. But it was an interesting show, and it's the show that inspired Stealing Focus, because while there was a lot that I wanted to talk about that was awesome about it, like the performers and a lot of the musical numbers, the Broadway cameos, there was a lot that I thought was wrong with it. I thought it had a lot of problems, and it suffered from basic story writing problems. And it lasted 2 seasons. The second season, they tried to kind of fix things. They had another musical, so there was Bombshell, and then there was Hit List, and Hit List was supposed to be like The Rent. It was okay. I mean, there were some good songs in it. The Jeremy Jordan song, that Broadway Here I Come song, was really good, but all the other songs were pretty forgettable. But the Bombshell songs tended to stick around, and people kind of really liked them. So back in 2015, they did a one-night, sold out in 15 minutes concert for the Actors Fund of all the songs from Bombshell, which were also written by Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman, who are Broadway legends. You know, they've written so many things I couldn't even tell you right now. The biggest that you'd know them for is writing Hairspray. This was almost 5 years ago. They did this concert, and now, because everyone's stuck at home and we're on day 68 of the quarantine, for me at least, they decided to put it online. But no one's really seen it except for the people who were there that night. So I wanted to kind of go through it in order and talk about it. Maybe you can let me know what you thought of it in the comments below. So the first thing I noticed about this concert, which was so funny, was that it was filmed never being intended to be shown to an audience. They never meant for an audience to see it. It was filmed for posterity, which is very common, especially in big theaters, especially for one-night concerts like this. The only shots are like extreme close-ups, center stage of the lead soloist, or huge wide shots, okay? There's kind of no in-between, which makes total sense. They probably had just like 3 cameras in the back, and that was it, and they weren't really worrying about like dynamic shots or getting up real close. There are some moments that you probably missed, like some of the choreography. There's a whole choir above the stage singing all the backup stuff, and you can never see them. You never see their faces, which is kind of a bummer, because I bet they were given some really good like show choir, like bow, ba-da-bow, da-do-da-do-da, like a lot of that stuff. So I didn't realize until I saw all these songs back to back to back to back to back that they like have a musical written. I mean, they have to fill in the gaps with some things and obviously write a coherent score, but Bombshell could happen. I mean, they have at least a first act here in terms of songs, and in story writing structure, they did it that night. They have the whole gosh darn Marilyn Monroe-sicle right there. It started with Christian Borle and Deborah Messing, who played the composer and lyricist of Bombshell. I think she also writes the book, so it's Julia and Tom. And they do a little intro, and Deborah Messing is doing her Grace Adler thing pretty hard. She's doing a little shtick, and Christian Borle is her, the straight man. Now that I think about it, they did have a really Will and Grace dynamic on the show. She's really good at that. And then they go into Let Me Be Your Star, which it's such a good song. It's the best song that show ever churned out. Megan Hilty and Katharine McPhee have a wonderful blend. And it's just so funny. You watch them. This was 5 years ago. Katharine McPhee has done musicals since then. She's been in Waitress on Broadway, I think in the West End too. So she's got chops, but you can really see the difference in how they perform because Katharine McPhee is, gosh, when she sings, like you don't see any work being put into it. She does sing the lower harmony, which is easier to pull off, but she's so American Idol ready. You know, she's so beautiful, she's so tall, she's so skinny, and she just sings and you're just like, oh my God, I can see you on an album cover or in a music video. Whereas Megan Hilty obviously comes from a huge musical theater Broadway background. She's been in a bunch of shows and she's amazing, and she is belting to the rafters, and she is really kind of showing every inch of emotion in her face as she sings to the balcony. It's all here and my heart's bleeding. Let me be your star. So I don't know if, I mean, I guess I have my preferences. I'm a musical theater person. I think it's more interesting to act a song than sound pretty. But McPhee is doing her thing, and I think they both did a good job. It's just kind of interesting to notice the difference between them. Okay, so then they went into the 20th Century Fox Mambo with McPhee. And they did this thing at the intro where she was obviously doing some kind of little dance moves, but when they edited it, they cut to Marilyn pictures. Oh, that's the other thing. They're like reading Marilyn lines and showing pictures of her to kind of put everything together, put the whole concert together. And they would cut away from McPhee to show the pictures of Marilyn. And they didn't do that in any other song. So it makes me kind of wonder, like, oh my gosh, what did she look like? What happened there? I don't know.
At Paramount, it's ooh la la. The Warner Brothers cha-cha-cha.
I mean, I don't think she fell or anything, but it was just weird. You could tell she's like at the start of her future Broadway career. She's not quite as comfy in doing this on stage stuff as Hilty seems. And she's kind of just, she looks like she's in a music video. She's just looking really pretty while it goes on, but she sounds great. She does good choreography with those great dancers. Then she sings Never Give All the Heart. I gotta say, there are so many ballads in this show, in Bombshell, that sound exactly the same. They sound very, very similar. There's at least 3. Never Give All the Heart, The Right Regrets, Secondhand White Baby Grand. They all kind of are the same sad ballad. I feel like once they write Bombshell for real, they need more songs of characters actually interacting with each other, because there aren't really a lot. There's a bunch of solos, there's a couple duets, but that's it. Anyway, I've gone off track. Bombshell doesn't even happen. It was for a TV show. I don't know. So Never Give All the Heart. It was fine. It was fine. McPhee is good at like those kind of riffing notes that she kind of trills off the note, she's holding a long note and then she'll go like at the end. I can't do it, but that's nice. Okay, so the next song was the National Pastime, which was the baseball song. We have, let's see, I think it's like the 3rd baseball song in a musical I can think of. There's What a Game from Ragtime, obviously Damn Yankees. There's a whole bunch of songs about baseball in it. It's a bunch of sexual innuendos while Marilyn checks out Joe DiMaggio at the baseball game, and she's like, peanuts, hot dogs, and she did a little graphic move with a baseball bat.
Peanuts! Hot dogs! Cracker Jack! I don't care! I don't care!
Hilty's funny. She's good at that like winky sex pot stuff. I'll never understand why Jack Davenport's character was like, I see her as Marilyn, while talking about Katharine McPhee. You put Katharine McPhee next to Megan Hilty, you're like, what? I love Katharine McPhee, but not a Marilyn Monroe. She's Jenna in Waitress. Perfect. Oh, then History Is Made at Night, sexy duet with Megan Hilty and Will Chase. I saw Will Chase play Roger and Rent back in the day. You know, if you play Roger and Rent, you're sexy. It's a fact. It's a great song. History is made at night. Yeah, it's very, very sexy and cute. I like it a lot. Good duet. They have a good blend. They have good chemistry together. Then they did I Never Met a Wolf Who Didn't Love to Howl. On the TV show, it was Megan Hilty singing this at a party while Nick Jonas was like playing the piano and flirting with her, or he was playing the guitar. I don't know, it was really weird. It was very like, ugh. But here they let Anne Harada do it. Anne Harada, we stan Anne. She's a Broadway performer. She's been in a bunch of shows. Her biggest like mainstream Broadway show was Christmas Eve in Avenue Q. She's hilarious. But she recently did the Sondheim 90 concert, and she played the kind of narrator role in Someone in a Tree. And that part is always played by a guy. It was like B.D. Wong in the revival. It was Mako originally. And so it was really cool to see her do that. And then see this, like obviously this was 5 years ago, but man, she was awesome. She's so talented. I love her, and I hope people are learning her name more because she is quite a talent. And she played the stage manager character on Smash, and she didn't really get to perform ever, and it was always just like, oh, Anne, you gotta sing. And they finally let her. Megan Hilty and Will Chase reunited for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, their sweet duet. So they had their sexy duet, and then they moved on to their sweet, like, we're celebrities, but we're gonna get a family in a house and it's gonna be really great. So they have this lyric where they say, we'll spend the nights making our own Little League baseball team. I like the lyric. It's cute. I've never heard that in a song before. It's clever. They don't end up together. I also have to say it's pretty funny how Will Chase, he plays this guy who's having an affair with Deborah Messing's character, and it's a real testament to him because on the show, I mean, you're supposed to like hate, he's having an affair with her, and yet the affair is like kind of hot, and he's so talented and so like charismatic that you're just like, I get it. But see, this is the problem, is they didn't have Brian Darcy James sing. If they had Brian Darcy James sing, then maybe we would have been on his side more. Also, Deborah Messing had that son who was a really bad actor, and then he ended up being in that movie Brooklyn. I hated that movie. Speaking of hate, Jamie Sapero made an entrance at the beginning to hand off binders, and then came out at the end and did a bow. He played the character everyone hated, Ellis. He was annoying, but like I didn't hate him. I don't know, people hated him. Then there's this song called Don't Say Yes Until I Finish Talking. And that was Christian Borle's big number. And that was the moment when all the boys were in the locker room in their towels, and the Actors Fund gives people what they want. Now it should be mentioned that this was the night after the Tony Awards, and it was the night after Christian Borle won a Tony Award. I think he messed up a couple times. I don't know, it's a very wordy song, but I couldn't really tell. But he messed up a couple times, and at the end, he looked angry. Not angry at anyone else, angry at himself. Like, you know that feeling when you fuck up on stage and then you're just so mad at yourself? That's what I feel like he was going through.
And then say yes, because yes, man, I'm finished. Yes!
Okay, so then they got into On Lexington and 52nd Street. So that's the song where Joe DiMaggio was like all butthurt that Marilyn's standing over the grate and everyone can see her. Yeah, it was good. He did a good job. He's really good at that kind of consonant acting and singing. Very good. This is the point where Megan Hilty, I think, made her 4th dress change, maybe? And she finished Act 1 with They Just Keep Moving the Line. And that's a great bluesy torch song. She just sells it. She's so good at it. I really think it should be her signature song, like how Liza's is Liza with a Z, or Elaine Stritch's is Ladies Who Lunch, or Ethel Merman's is No Business Like Show Business. I think that They Just Keep Moving the Line should be Megan Hilty. She should sing that forever and ever and ever, and she's great. And then we got into the reunion, and a lot of the gang was there. Oh, I forgot to mention, at the very beginning had Renee Zellweger. Renee Zellweger introduced the whole thing. because she knows like the producers because of Chicago. She was wearing a University of Texas hat, which is like, I don't know if you know anyone from the University of Texas, but every opportunity they'll give you to remind you that they are from UT, they will tell you that. Hook 'em horns. So the intermission had the reunion, and it was mediated by Julie Klausner, and like a whole bunch of the gang was there. Some notable omissions. No Angelica Houston, if you can believe it. But like they didn't even talk about her. Like she never existed. It's like she threw water on them and then they all disappeared. Andy Mientus, I guess, was there, but he only talked once. It was a good little conversation. I love Jack Davenport on the show. I just love him. His character is just like a British, less gropey Bob Fosse. But I always thought he was kind of an underrated actor, at least in America. You know, we kind of know him from the Pirates films. But he's so good on the show. I really liked him. So it was kind of cool to watch him kind of giving his thoughts. They did mention how Brian Darcy James never got to sing on the show and how he was really bummed about that. And I was bummed too. How can you have the Darce and not use the Darce? I remember getting, listen to me, I remember Brian Darcy James when I bought the original Broadway cast soundtrack of Titanic, the Broadway musical, on cassette. The lady at the store was like, you know this is in the movie, right? And I was like, yeah, I know. I put that cassette tape in, I listened to it, I heard you saying, how did they build Titanic? And I was like, who is that man? The beautiful eyebrows, the beautiful voice. Ugh, what a waste. Jeremy Jordan did mention how like the hate tweeting and hate watching was a thing. I mean, I know it sucks. It was his first like TV gig. Like that had to kind of suck. But the collective, like, I don't know, the collective amnesia we all seem to have about Smash is pretty funny. Like it was not a perfect show. It could have gotten better if they let it. If they had different showrunners. I know Teresa Rebeck created it, and Deborah Messing is like her avatar character with her scarves. You know, the show was on this like loop, at least for the first season. It was just like the same cycles over and over again, and like nothing got resolved. And the second season, I felt like they were on their way there. By then, kind of the damage was done. Jennifer Hudson was in the whole second season. She wasn't mentioned either. I don't know. But you know, that being said, there were some musical numbers, like the pop song covers got better. I do like the last episode when they're singing Under Pressure. It works in the moment. I remember them doing another open and another show. Like that made sense. I didn't mind all the covers, but they had to kind of work in the story. I feel like they had to do that or just go completely diegetic and have all the songs just exist in the world of Bombshell and then the second season hit list. If they're gonna bring it back, now would be the time. Like we are inundated with kind of musical theater content like this. And I do like that Bollywood number. God damn it, I love that Bollywood number. Okay, so Act 2 starts with Jeremy Jordan coming out, and again, this is 2015. This is like a few years after Newsies, maybe. Like, as soon as he comes out, you hear, ah! You hear the screams. So he comes out and he sings Cut Print Moving On, and oh my God, did he nail it. Damn, he's good. He did do Straight Guy, doing musical, got a hand in pocket a bit. But, oh man, his control is infuriating. God, he's good. Okay, so then there was Public Relations, where they let Wesley Taylor finally appear and steal the show. He didn't get to like really sing that much, but he got to come in and basically be, I don't know, I guess the concert's equivalent of like the Piragua guy, or like Petra the maid. Anyway, he comes in and he like steals the show and is like dancing all over the place with her, and it's so funny because McPhee, she's not quite there yet. She's still like camera ready, so she's not giving the same amount of blah that Wes Taylor is giving. She'll get there, I think she does. Okay, then Megan Hilty did Second Hand White Baby Grand. Pretty song. I think I like it better than Never Give All the Heart or The Right Regrets. just because it tells a little bit more of a story. We get some more backstory from Marilyn. I like musical theater songs like that are a little more specific, a little less vague. Oh, then Leslie Odom Jr. comes out right before that Hamilton explosion, and he sings "Let's Start Tomorrow Tonight," and voice is like butter, I'm telling you. I mean, I could listen to him sing forever, couldn't you? His voice is just beautiful. Ugh. I just keep going, at all these beautiful singers. And then they let the Darce come out. The Darce. He comes out and he speaks in that voice of his. It's bordering on Mandy Patinkin, I guess, is my impression. But he does The Right Regrets and he sounds great, beautiful. He's a legend. And then, so then Megan Hilty comes out and does Let's Be Bad. And this is also a point where I do want to mention that a girl I went to high school with was one of the backup dancers. Last time I saw her was on a flight to New York a few years ago. She totally remembered me. So Jessica Walker, you nailed it. You did a great job. So Let's Be Bad, I think, is probably, it might be my favorite song. It's definitely like the second best song next to Let Me Be Your Star. It's a good character song. It's a good storytelling song. It's when Marilyn's showing up to work, but she's like a total drugged out, drunk mess. So Hilty gets to act that, but also in the choreography and her acting show off the fact that she's like this puppet and that they kind of have to push her around to make her do anything because she's so messed up. And then the choreography has moments of like the pressure getting to her. I love it. It's such a good song. And of course, Megan Hilty is just, she's Marilyn, like, but also she's her. Like, she's so funny and so talented and is just a powerhouse, and I love her. Then Donna McKechnie is there. I'm not complaining. Break it down, Donna McKechnie. So she sang Hang the Moon in place of Bernadette Peters. I don't remember if Donna McKechnie was ever on the show. There were a lot of Broadway cameos on Smash, but it probably was like, we need to find a grande dame of the musical theater because Bernadette isn't available. So they're like, let's get Donna. It's an okay song. It's a little redundant for me, but I think it's supposed to be kind of a lullaby thing. I also think there was supposed to be a moment of her singing with a kid, like the kid version of Marilyn, but then they didn't show that, but then the kid was in the bows. So there was probably a legality issue, or I mean, who knows? Maybe they couldn't get a hold of her, or maybe she's someone really famous. I have no idea. But for some reason, they didn't want to show the kid. Whatever. And then they finish the show with the companion piece to Let Me Be Your Star, Don't Forget Me, which is intentionally written so that it's the same song, but it's intentional, right? Because you could layer them on top of each other and get a pretty damn good mashup. Glee, damn it. And then they wrapped up with Big Finish with Hilty and McPhee, where she's like, hey, Karen Cartwright, let's do the thing. And they sang that in the last episode of Smash, I believe. It was a fun walk down memory lane. They were really pushing. I know McPhee is doing this a lot, and Hilty was doing it too. They're really pushing for them to reboot Smash. My neighbor's dog thinks it's a good idea, so I think it could work. I think they just have to get a really good writer's room for this and not just fall back on the musical theater of it all, because the musical theater of it all was great, but also like they didn't understand fundamentally what a dramaturg was. So I don't know. Okay, so yeah, those are my thoughts on the Smash reunion Bombshell concert. I think Bombshell, it's got legs, baby. It could go to Broadway. Smash, maybe, we'll see.
Fading on a girl.
Until next time, Broadway babies, let me be your, can I belt it right now? Let me be your star.